This podcast is brought to you by Gamefly.com.
What's happening, Felicia Michaels?
Well, actually, I was just showing someone those pictures I took when you had acupuncture.
Okay.
And they were like, is it hot? The cups aren't hot when they put it on your back,
No,
right?
no.
Yeah. Does it hurt when they do the suction?
When they take the cup off, it feels like somebody's ripping your skin. But
Really?
It's fucking tremendous. I went to acupuncture yesterday. I slept like a baby last
Is that
night.
what a blowjob feels like?
I can imagine if you put one of those cups on your dick and lit it on fire and blew it up with fucking air. I'd better be better than a blowjob because every Chinese acupuncture store in the country, they have lines around the block.
When you're a girl and you're at that point in the blowjob, right where the guy's about to come, you're like really working it, and I think to myself, is this painful? You know what I mean? Like,
it's not painful. We just want to crack the load and knock your fucking wig off. There's nothing like hitting her with a load and looking at her eyebrows going up like this motherfucker's got yum-yums for a week.
Or she's drowning.
Or she's fucking put some fucking goggles on. What else is going on?
Well, I just, I've been working on this show, Parental Discretion. I've decided that I am going to embrace the mom thing. I mean, I have to do it, right?
It's nothing.
Yeah.
You got two boys.
Yeah.
You're still very beautiful. But you're not a young girl. You're not fucking hanging out in the fucking corner.
Just relax with that.
So, what else you gonna embrace?
Man.
You either got that or cock. You can't walk around with a cock
explored.
at your age because they throw you in jail under Sandusky.
It's starting to feel a little
yeah,
icky.
so it's icky. You can't walk around and jump around. I don't see you really being a cougar. Like, you have too much class. Your pussy's got value to it. You're like these other old hoes that give out that pussy like it's not worth it. You guys, you've worked hard to maintain your pussy. You can't give it to no 21-year-old that still smells like piss. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't want to share it with someone who doesn't know what they're doing.
No, that's okay for some women that, I got a 20-year-old, so what? And
but here's the thing, you always find either a guy that doesn't know what they're doing because they're too young, or you find the true professional. And it's kind of like what you want is the middle, but it's always one or the other.
But the true professional always give you the cock you want. You'll come and you'll see stars. But then there's one night where he pops a fucking disgusting thing out because he's got deep. You fuck a guy. He's really good in bed. He's got good breath. He's got a job. You gotta wonder. A guy's 40, 45. He don't have a fucking wife. There's gotta be a by the way here. And those are the by the ways. One night he whips out this bat that's old and he wants to shove it up your pussy and you're like, I ain't into that. There's always something with those fucking guys. They always got an umbrella they want to put in your snatch.
A bat that's old. Like
who
it's his childhood bat. You know what I mean? Like he's been holding on to it since he's 9.
Yeah, his mommy gave it to him when he was 9.
Bat.
Yeah. You never
like,
fucking know.
Mommy, my bat.
Maybe he went on Yankee Day when they gave out the bats against the Boston Red Sox.
Because a girl does want to be fucked by a Yankee bat.
And somebody took him and put that bat up his fucking ass and he has deep memories. But you never know. You always gotta, deep memories. They put a bat up your ass. I don't know much, but I know a couple of ball boys that are molested. They walk around a little fucked up these days. Just kidding me. I don't know no ball boys.
I had to look at that. Really?
Yeah,
those kind of ball boys?
So, I'm happy. I'm happy that you're busy.
So it's interesting. It's interesting.
Sometimes life pushes you into your next step.
It's true.
Without knowing.
It's true. It's very true.
And either you jump on that motherfucker or you go, no, I don't want to be commercial. I'd rather play in coffee shops and smell like shit the rest of my life. Go put your fucking shoes on and go be commercial and make some fucking dough. What are you going to do? You're not, Felicia sold out. She's doing parental discretion. What do you think?
No, I'm very happy to be doing it. Because it's been a tremendous learning experience, and you guys, you probably don't know my comedy, but I've been filthy for years and years and years, and now I'm doing the mommy stuff and doing clean stuff. But it was such a great learning experience because you get the subject matter the day before that morning, and then you got to write jokes to it, and then you got to perform it. There's no in real life we practice it 10 times. Well, you're like a genius, so you always do it just one time. But for me, that was a big shift, and it was a big learning experience, and I was very happy to do it.
I'm happy that you're evolving. It's weird because we do a podcast, and everybody does a fucking podcast. Everybody does a podcast.
Everyone's a comic or does a podcast.
And the good thing about the podcast is that it makes you go somewhere different. We've been used to all our lives doing shit for money. When we started, there's no money here. We had a sponsor from time to time. So you do this on your own love, and shit has to happen. I see people at home, I can't get a job, and they sit there all day, watch TV. Go to a construction site and go, hey, dog, I'm going to pick up some papers today just for free. I want to get some sun. After a month, they're going to give you a fucking job. They're going to go, this motherfucker keeps showing up. He may not be Mexican or Spanish, but fuck it. he's good enough for me, and they give you a fucking job, and that's it. When you put shit out there, shit's gonna come back to you. This girl has booked 2 stand-up shows this year, this fucking parental show, you know, people are calling her. You know, sometimes she calls me and I can hear the excitement in her voice, and I feel like smacking her and going, get it together, girl. You know, this is what happens when you put yourself out there. You know, when you do 200 sets a year for free, something has to fucking happen. You know, that's just the way life is. Something has to happen. It just can't be dull. So I congratulate you, and I'm happy that you're fucking seeing this shit. You're seeing this shit, and you're. When she called me and said they gave me an episode, I could hear the excitement. She was like a little fucking girl. You know, it's like you first moved to this town, and that's how you're supposed to do this. I hate when I get a job and I think like, oh, I gotta go shoot this shit now, whatever. I like when I'm excited. So, congratulations.
Well, and then I saw this morning, I was watching the Today Show, and Lori Kilmartin was on it, and she was basically, you know, a guest and trying to be light and funny with the host on the show, and it was like, wow, once you experience doing something that someone else is doing, you appreciate what the other person is doing, because you understand how hard it is to
the work
walk
that goes into it.
Like an environment you know no one, and you got to be everyone's instant friend and polite and funny and not lose your mind. Like, that's tough.
You know who else was on the Today Show today?
Yeah.
Linda Blair. She trumps Lori Kilmartin. That bitch stuck across in her pussy
she
when
trumps
she was 12.
everyone.
She's still fucking great. She still looks great. God bless her. Somebody tweeted me yesterday and go, Joey, you're not gonna believe this. Fucking Linda Blair's on the Today Show. I stopped what I was doing. I went to the fucking thing. I scrolled it and I fucking taped it because I want to see what she looks like today. To me, they should give her an Oscar every year for that movie. Somebody should give her a check. That's traumatizing. She did it at 12 years old. You watch an Exorcist, and you're like, if you watch an Exorcist with a parent today, that parent's thinking to themselves, would I let my kid do that role at fucking 12? That's a traumatizing role, grabbing your mother, making her eat your pussy, and they fucking VO'd in. Watch the fucking movie. It's on IFC all the time. I can't talk enough about the fucking movie, all right? We're back, bitches. Felicia Michaels.
Joey Diaz.
What the fuck, Felicia Michaels?
I don't know. What the fuck,
it's
Joey?
It's a beautiful day to be alive.
It
Finally,
is a beautiful day.
fucking God turned off the fucking heat. That cocksucker, you know, for 3 fucking weeks, it was 107 degrees every fucking day in the afternoon. You had to change your shorts, your ass is sweaty. I don't need that shit in my life in October.
You know what's funny is I bought this little teeny tiny house in a little teeny tiny town in Kansas for a little bit of teeny tiny money. And so I was like to my brother, like, we got to do this and this has got to start to happen. And he's like, you know, it's going to snow here this weekend, because you forget when you live somewhere like this and you're like, fuck, it's 103 at 5 and this is bullshit because it's October. But then when you're talking to people back east or other places, you're like, I need to shut the fuck up.
Dog, have you been watching the weather lately? It's fucking 45 degrees. And it snowed in Colorado. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over. From here on in, you're just waiting, shoveling snow, waiting for the Mayans.
Yeah.
The Mayans, whatever the fuck.
The Mayans of
They
people.
didn't even show up on Sons of Anarchy
like
last
mayonnaise.
night. Did you watch Sons of Anarchy last night? No.
You know what? I don't watch Sons of Anarchy.
Well, get it together,
I know.
dog.
I'm working on what's the one with the
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I've been working on Breaking Bad.
Show.
I took it to Bali, so I was sitting in Bali watching Breaking Bad. That's a weird experience. That's a weird fucking experience. You're on the beach,
That's one of a kind.
wondering if the tsunami's going to happen, and you're watching Breaking Bad
Every
on your
time
computer.
I watch Breaking Bad at the 35-minute point, it's not that I jones for a line. It's that you just sitting there going, fuck it. I might as well. I even get like the shits when I watch Breaking Bad. Anybody who knows Doug Blow and Speed knows that once you do that first line, you go in the bathroom and toilet paper, there's a full roll of toilet paper. That's your day. Like I just did a line of Coke and I got a full roll of toilet paper. Who's better than me? I'm going to shit till it all comes out. And all this stuff comes out of you and you're like, man, it was worth the $50. After a while, you're like, you know what? I'm just doing Coke to shit. Fuck the other side effects. See, like,
My new bowel
I swear to God, when I stopped doing Coke, I didn't shit right for about 6 weeks, though.
Oh, really?
I was walking crooked. Yeah, because that was my constant. That's the thing. As soon as you call that dealer, and you hang up the phone, your stomach right away starts going bloop. And you be like, fuck, I got 8 minutes before he gets here. I hope he gets caught in traffic on Sunset. This will give you a quick time to shit that one pre-fucking line out. And then you do that other line and the rest of your shit comes out. A lot of people don't know that.
No, and then I'm like, and then I wonder why we don't have that many sponsors.
I'm just trying to help people out. That's why if you fucking take a chick home and you go to eat her pussy and you're doing blow, beware that little asshole. I'm just letting you know right now. Unless you got those little wipes that leaves a cologne in your ass, you're gonna eat some shit that night. But who gives a fuck? You're doing blow.
Don't you feel weird when you go into someone's bathroom and you see like a little box of wipes there? You're like, wow, these people are fucking clean.
They're taking care of their asshole. Yeah. They know if you're a professional shitter, toilet paper takes its toll. You know what I'm saying? Now, whoever invented that shit, some woman should be blowing him every fucking hour on the hour. There should be a line of women ready to fuck Steve Jobs and his fucking phones and all this shit. Whoever invented the moisturized toilet paper now, because that works for the pussy too, and it works for guys. You're gonna get your dick sucked, you're in a pinch, you haven't showered in 22 hours, fuck, you just wipe around the helmet, under the fucking leg like a cat right there, and you're fresh for at least 10 minutes.
Fleas pop out.
Yeah, the fleas, and they have it with anti-flea medication. So you just rub it on your balls, a little cologne. Everybody's fucking happy. You learn. Listen, Beauty and the Beast is not about second chances. Sometimes we produce shows that learn shit. People learn shit.
People learn stuff here.
I didn't think about this shit. You take a Lysol wipe, you wipe your balls with it, fucking perfect. Voila.
Yeah.
Dust, shine, mildew. You ever suck a dick when it smells
all-surface cleaner.
Yes, the all-surface cleaner. For you people looking to sponsor us over at Lysol, we got the pitch for you guys. And in the Beauty and the Beast studios today are my buddies D, Red, and Joey. They represent the product that I've been using for 3 months, and I fucking love it. And I don't like shit when it comes to reefer, and it's the Eureka Vapor Pen. How you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Good. Thank you very much for coming on today, you bad motherfucker.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. It was great, man. When I spoke to Joey hit me on the Beauty and the Beast. Email.com for you people who want to email us. And we started talking last week, and I called them up, and yesterday I'm sitting there going, why don't I just let's have these motherfuckers on to explain their product. It's all yours, guys. Talk to me.
Yeah.
How it started, what inspired you?
Pretty much, we were, in the medical marijuana field, and we flew into Denver. We were starting to look into operations there. We met a few other fellas. They kind of showed us a similar product, the earlier models of the vapor pens, and we went into a formula with them, and things didn't work out. They went their own route, we went our route, and our route turned out a little bit better because we did a different formula that really worked. It had you medicated, it hit you pretty instant, and then we made it better once they came out with these new tanks, and the tanks changed the market.
Now, I started with you guys with the tanks.
No. I think the cartridges.
Cartridges. Yes. And that percentage of THC was 16%, you were telling me.
It ranged from 18 to 24%, okay. Just like any other regular
flower. The Skywalker
flower.
Was good.
Yeah, regular flower and all of that because of the formula. But once we could get rid of, have to, do a cutting agent to that. And we made the oil, just pure oil in the tanks of hash oil. Our range went from 60 to 75%.
The cartridges were copied basically after the nicotine vaporizers. The nicotine is cut with vegetable glycerin. So we took that formula from there and tweaked it and figured out that it got you medicated. And the biggest complaint with that was people were saying they weren't getting so medicated in California. In Colorado, they were loving it, but here in California, it's a total different thing. So then we evolved it into what you have now as the tanks, and that kind of did away with the cartridges, and we're off and running. Everybody's loving it. We're not getting any bad feedback, and it's taken off. We're happy with it, and we see the clients are happy with it as well.
I have many questions. So you guys are brothers?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're not twins, are you?
No.
No. How old are you guys?
I'm 28, so about
31.
2.5.
31 and 28. So you guys are from Colorado, or you were just living in Colorado?
No, we were there visiting.
Yeah.
From New York originally.
So how did you guys even get the idea? Like how did you guys, seriously, how did it even come about?
It started during a business meeting. We were all eating, and this guy showed me the little vapor pen. Mm-hmm. And we didn't recognize it. We were still focused on what our goal was.
The cigarette vapor pen, yeah.
And then after seeing it for a while, we worked with other companies. We heard they were trying, and we went working with them and started tweaking it, changing things and coming up with new ideas, stronger stronger tanks, more easier cases for pens, so on and so on. And from there, we pretty much, thought of the easiest way was copy exactly what the nicotine is, but change the heating mechanism because it burns at different degrees. THC oil burns anywhere from 365 to 425. THC, the e-oil, the cigarette oils, range from even higher. So it would burn it too much. So we changed that, and then from there, it made the product work easy.
How does it even burn? Like, how does that work?
There's a heating element inside the actual tank, and the wick soaks up the oil and it feeds it into the heating element slowly. And the heating element, like you said, is set at a temperature lower than the nicotine is, and that's what vaporizes it. And that's what makes it a vaporizer. And it's that's really it. There's not much more to it than that for that part.
We've seen the really smart part is I was a heavy smoker. I've always smoked. I loved it. It kept me calm. It's, my way to function. I can deal with people better. I'm cool-headed. I used to have to work in Manhattan, all different places in a building. You got to run downstairs, smoke, roll, do all these different things. Now, especially for older people out here that got to medicate, they can't do that. Holding scissors, doing any of that, it's a pain in the ass. So what better way that it's a vaporizer where you can smoke? It's not smoke, so it doesn't smell really. It doesn't cause harmful stuff in the air or anything like that. You can do it anywhere, and all you have to do is twist it onto a pen, push a button, and pull. You're done.
And what are the laws concerning it? Because you're producing it on a big level. What are the laws concerning that?
Well, as we all,
am I asking too many?
no, well, it's
interesting.
it's a
to
complicated
me. Yeah.
question right there.
No,
It's interesting.
As we all know,
Yeah.
federally it's a no-no.
Yeah.
Federally it's a no-no. Some county with the concentrates like Long Beach, it's complete. It's outlawed, but it's a cat and mouse game. What it is, it's a no. Manufacturing, which we have people that manufacture it, and which the oil that we're using is CO2, which it's allowed for the food industry. For the food industry, that's okay. Butane, CO2,
Whipped cream.
Well, yeah, exactly. So to extract like vanilla extract, they're using CO2, butane, whatever it may have you. That's allowed. But when it comes to the medical marijuana industry in California, that's illegal. So it's bullshit. That's the bottom line. It's bullshit. They're doing what they want to do with it, and making us jump through hoops. Which
So what do you guys use it for? For the burning or for the mixing to get the THC out?
what do you mean?
The CO2.
The CO2 is how you extract.
That's the solvent. That's the
the
solvent that extracts
pulls
the
all of the THC, CBDs, and CBNs off of the plant matter and makes the oil. And then we do a separate cleaning process. That's our recipe, and that's what makes it a clean, nice tasting, smooth, easy to use.
It gets rid of all the byproduct, all the pesticides, so on and so
matter.
forth. Whatever the growers are doing, who knows what these growers are doing? Some of them are on the up and up, and some of them are not. So we get rid of all that other stuff, and you're getting pure THC to the purest form that we know as of right now.
I'm fucking stoned. Tell you motherfuckers that I'm fucking stoned.
You enjoy it, huh?
I love it. I love it, man. Now,
Glad to hear.
when you say 65% is THC is in the tubes, explain to these fucking people. Most people get 28%.
All right. In your common around here, it's 22%. Some stuff even gets up to 25%. I've seen when I was in Amsterdam and around here, some 28, and that's the guy probably had nothing else on his mind but that plant. And normally,
Are you talking just the
THC
amount in
level.
a regular plant?
Yeah, regular bud and all
Okay,
that. These are
okay.
the averages.
Yeah.
And what it is with the extraction, these are the medicines in it for, stress, pain relief, nausea, so on and so on. Well, if you heighten that, they don't need to use as much. So that's the real better way to do it. If you take 3-4 puffs on a pen, that's equal to a joint, let's say. Well, you got to smoke a whole joint. The tar, marijuana doesn't cause cancer or anything, but it still has tar. It still can help, hurt the breathing. You're smoking something. Or for somebody with cancer, that's not the way the doctor wants them. First way is a vaporizer. Now you've seen these vaporizers. You got to plug it into the wall. It's a big thing. Fill up the bag, cut it up with scissors. It's a work.
It's a fucking nightmare.
Well, somebody that's really ill, that's hard. That's not something they can do.
And the elderly too.
Elderly.
The elderly. We have
Push a button.
nursing homes that we're giving it to nursing
And
homes.
twist.
This is really changing with arthritis. We have
I have
we
actually
work
letters
with the
from
company.
them.
Yeah, we have letters that is changing their lives. It's really
AIDS
it's
patients.
it's you know.
I'm working with a guy that all he has is in his medical things is terminally ill patients.
And we supply him.
Supply him. We give it to donations for free because if you're terminally ill, you know what your bills are for medical? They're ridiculous. They can't afford to buy the medicine. So we provide the medicine. And it's the right way to do it. And, you know, this is the future because you went from lighting matches to regular Bic lighter. From Bic lighter to, we were talking about the guys coming up with all different contraptions. Well, they turned cigarettes into a healthy way. Why not THC?
Wow. Is there any other stuff that you guys dabble in as far as, because you guys must be like, are you an engineer of any sort? Do you work with an engineer? Like this kind of stuff?
We do work with some engineers, as
Drop it,
my
drop
friends
it,
say. I'm a ghetto scientist,
Ghetto
you know.
scientist.
I'm not your book smarts, you know. I'll have you read the paragraph, but I'll rephrase it where it works better. And that's how my brain always works. And I sit late nights and think of different ways and different methods, not just for this industry, for many industries. You know, I worked in nightclub industry, and you know the whole thing was quick with ideas. You know, you have to get the people in. Well, I can do that, but I finally stand by a product that I'm getting the people into something I really know. And I
believe in.
I believe in.
You know, and it's
I wouldn't be
it's
sitting
helping
on the
people.
radio, you know, kind of exposing a little bit, but doing it because I believe in it. This is a fight that, you know,
And
most people forget about.
Well, the feedback we're getting too is unbelievable, you know. And it's not. We have, like you said, we have letters from these elderly people and stuff, and it's really.
My aunt,
really
she's
good.
70 years old. She lives in a retirement home. She's afraid to smoke marijuana in there. It's the only thing that helps her with her arthritis. And you know, when she burns a bowl, the smoke, the people in the retirement home can smell that. So I sent her a pen. And she loves that thing. You know, nobody can smell. You know, it's the best. It's all
I'll
the
tell you,
people
man.
in the house in the retirement home want it. It's
You know,
Wow.
I'm proud to say this. Sometimes I'm ashamed to say it's to be smoking dope. But when I went to NoHo Organic and they showed it to me, I giggled. I was like, here we go, another fucking, you know, another thing to take money out of my pocket. And I bought one. I spoke to somebody and they were telling me how they stopped smoking and it really helped their endurance when they wrestled. I was blown the fuck away. I said, you know what, I'm going to start vaporing. And I took it home and I vaporized. That was with the cartridges. And it got me high the first couple times. After that, I realized I had to just smoke in the daytime, early. And I get high, and then I had to, by 1 o'clock, I had to hit the real McCoy. Then one day I went in there and they fucking said, no, look at this. And that was when I was blown the fuck away. And I basically hit that every morning. In fact, I had to switch to different cartridges this morning. It was fucking on fire. Because when you first put that new cartridge in, it's on fire.
New car smell.
Oh, that's new car smell, baby.
So now,
And I mean, I went on fucking your webpage, and I kept getting Eureka vacuums. Those motherfuckers, you know. And I kept, and I went to NoHo and I asked them because I was blown the fuck away, and I don't get blown away by dick, dog. You know, people send me bongs. You know, I got a bong that you got to be a weightlifter to pick it up. It's 4 feet, but I got to, you know, get my wife to pick it up and the cat to push from the bottom. Fill out the
teamwork.
fucking water. Yeah, I don't need that in my life. You know, whatever, nice guys, Vapor Scale, nice guy, great fucking vaporizer. The problem is, I don't have time to cut weed with a scissor at 5:30 in the morning. You know, you're cutting, you're shaking from the coffee, you're still dead, and I got to plug it in, it's got to turn orange. Come on, guy. You know, I don't have that type of time. So everything from this works if you're a guy on the move. I don't like, you know, listen, when you're 15, you like shit on your table, the ashtray with the ashes.
The ritual.
Fucking a paper clip with fucking dog shit on it. And you gotta burn it and take another paper, and then that paper sticks to your foot. This is fucking beautiful. This is beautiful because I'm not looking for pizzazz. I'm not looking to be cool. I'm just looking to see the devil. That's it. You're at an airport. You're not at an airport. You got to walk out 4 hours, take a shuttle, go outside, roll it, make sure there's no dogs and a cop in the area. With this, I smoke in the fucking terminal like I own the joint. You know, and nobody knows what you're doing on a plane. 6 hour
cigarette
flight.
to them. It's an e-cigarette to them.
Yeah,
It's the whole
it's an
design to
e-cigarette.
make it look like that for the reasons of nobody questions you. I've had a few people look at me and they go, "That I'm trying to quit cigarettes," you know, and it's just a convenient thing. Like we came up with this other one because medicine's evolving, changing. So we came up with a thing that's a portable nail that attaches to the same pen. You don't have to buy anything else. All you got to buy is the one add-on piece, and you're good to go for whatever you like, from regular wax to hash to butter, all different varieties.
And you just switch it out with your tank.
Yep. So it's all about convenience.
Can that
because
go through the airport scanner?
These all can go through the airport scanner. It's just, you know, like the wax one, you're taking a different substance.
That's a different
of the
substance.
place.
We don't recommend that.
We don't recommend
We don't
it,
recommend
you know.
that. This is for California use only. You know, that's the bottom line.
But if you go from LA to San Francisco,
Cisco,
that's
that's
what
yes,
we're
yes,
saying.
yes.
Yeah.
You're allowed to
Yeah.
sit on your script, but this
I'm
is
going
not.
from
This
LA
is
to
for
Oregon
California.
tomorrow. I'm puffing. Oregon, they don't give a fuck if you light yourself on fire with ash on your head. They don't give a fuck. So they're puffing. You know,
Just
if
clean
I
up
go to
the-
Jersey, I'm not bringing dick. But if I go to somewhere in California, and I tell people, I've seen in Burbank with my own eyes, growers that are bringing, mixing and matching, and maybe they came down, didn't sell it all. They'll put on the security belt, and they'll go through. I've seen it.
Yeah.
In Burbank, weed fell out of my nutsack one time, and a cop told me to pick it up. I picked it up, he just throw it away. I put it back in my pocket. They don't have time at Burbank. You know, they got 4 fucking jetways. And in LAX, I really haven't seen weed, but I know it must work the same way.
Yeah, that's
You know,
what
I know people fly out of Ontario, they fly out with
In
weed
the
to San
medical
Francisco.
law, you're allowed to fly from SFO to LAX with less than an eighth.
Oh, really?
You're allowed to with medical laws, because if you're a patient, you're staying within California state, you're staying by all the guidelines, you're not carrying more than you're supposed to. And think about it, I'm not allowed to take, if I'm prescribed Vicodin, I can't take that on the plane with me. It's the
What do
same
you
thing.
think is, because you guys must be pretty knowledgeable about the marijuana laws, right?
so much changing every
Yeah,
hour.
yeah,
you know?
it's-
So,
What do you think is the most bizarre part of the law where you're just like, oh, that's weird?
recently, what's going on here in LA? That it was okay. It's okay to have dispensaries, and the Fed just came in and raided, and the LAPD is just standing there doing nothing. Nobody cares. You know, it's like, I don't know if it's the elections. The right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing for the most part as far as the laws. I don't know if they can't figure out how to tax it. It's the biggest cash crop that the state
I
has.
can't believe they just don't tax it. That boggles my mind.
The state's taxing it, but the federal is
taxing
not.
it when you go to
And this,
stores.
you know,
They tax it.
Think
it's
about Vegas. Vegas, you're allowed to have prostitution is legal, and gambling. And a lot of states aren't. But you're allowed to have
But
medical
they got weed
marijuana
now
by
in
state.
Vegas.
Yeah, they got
Yeah,
medical
now I
marijuana.
They
smell
do?
it. I smell it in the fucking hotels all the time.
Really?
I've always smelt it, you know, the UFC.
That's another
hotel.
one that's fighting.
But
You know,
you smell it big time now, where they used to knock on your door and say, somebody's smoking weed on the 3rd floor. Do you smell it, sir? They wouldn't accuse you. And I'd say, no, I think the maid broke into my room. And smelled it. Fire that bitch. Fire that bitch.
Right.
But, no, it's pretty open now in some places. They know. What do you know? They even have a pot hotel here in L.A. on Vermont.
oh yeah.
Have you seen it?
They do?
Remember, we used to do comedy there. It's been there. The Hilton. Used to be a Hilton on Vermont, off of Sunset, down the block from Kaiser.
Yeah.
They always did comedy there for years. Everybody had a room there during the week. And one day I was driving past, I seen a Leaf. I pulled over. It's a weed hotel.
Oh,
If
jeez.
you want to smoke weed, you want to come to California, you got a license, you go in there, you can smoke and toke till you're fucking green in the face there.
Yeah.
I've
It's a
seen
weed
something in
hotel.
San Francisco. It's weed tours. Guy takes you around, takes you to Oaksterdam or whatever, shows you all the different shops, the learning stuff, explains the laws, tells you everything. I was reading about it when I was up there. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I was like, yeah. See, it's an evolving business. You can see
A lot of money to make it. A lot of money the government can make off of it, and help do good with the money. You know, and they're just they're not doing the
California's
right
in
thing.
Have you
debt.
guys
Think about that.
ever been to Amsterdam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. Did you like research it out, like what it's like there, the laws there, how it applies, or?
Well, the laws were, it's tolerated. It wasn't in the laws that you can and stuff. They tolerated. They understood it like drinking, and they made it a nice tourist thing. But I think the laws are changing a lot now from when I went there. I went there, it was a very relaxed thing. One thing I'll tell you, you never seen teenage kids in the coffee shop because it was available. They didn't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't a no-no thing to them. And you would walk into a coffee shop, sit down, and you could feel relaxed, enjoy nice tea, cafe, and smoke a joint. And it was normal to them. And they have drug issues minimal to the United States because they're relaxed with it. They understand it's different than, think about it, all of France and all the other places. It's decriminalized on a lower base. All pretty much marijuana in a lot of places.
Now, you were saying it changed recently.
Yeah, it's been changing from what I've read and seen. I don't know exactly, but they're trying to say that foreigners, if you come to visit, you're not allowed in the coffee shops. It's meant for.
And they also did a maximum on the loud THC. I don't know what the percentage is. I don't know where that went because I've been so involved over here, but I think it was like no more than 12 or 16% THC on the flower. They want to control it, and like you said, no more foreigners. I don't know if that was just the border towns or was that Amsterdam. I don't know if all of Holland. I don't know, but I know it's changing over there. That it's not what it used to be.
How long does it? I have like technical questions.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, shoot.
How long does it take to get it from the flour or whatever into your formula and packaged?
About a day and a half, 2 days,
Yeah.
from start to finish. And then you'll have final product that somebody can use, the filled tank packaged, ready to go to one of the clinics. And it's a pretty involved process. It's easy once you're taught it, but it's there's a curveball thrown in all the time. Weather is a big thing. Humidity is your biggest enemy. Things change a lot. And it's well, for me, it's my ghetto scientific ways, but there is a method to the madness, and it really makes a difference in potency, flavor, and taste. Ever since I've heard of CO2, everyone's like, "There's no flavor, this, that." I see flavor in all my pens. I see everybody go, "Oh, you can taste the difference." I give them a Skywalker, or if I give them a sour, they can taste and feel the difference instantly.
Yeah.
And it hits the bloodstream pretty quick.
And that's the major difference between Eureka and all the other pens is, our oil is better. Our oil's stronger. Our oil tastes better. Our oil looks better. I mean, it's just
Smooth.
It's such a big difference from all the other pens and all the other companies out there. So it's one thing that's putting us up above everybody else.
And the other thing is, we were the small dog in town. We were the smaller ones. We didn't get backed by a lot of people, but we have hustle. We have urge, and I don't give up, and he doesn't give up. So I was going until the end.
How many stores do you have the pen in now?
We only deal with like 3 people, whatever they got it in. I can't call. I can't determine that, to be honest with you.
No, I'm just
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer because we only deal with
Good
distributor.
for you guys.
Yeah.
So you're keeping it tight. Like
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
everywhere.
No, we deal with the more up and up shops. That they have their papers and all of that. They're not letting anybody in. Because look, there's laws. You gotta abide by them. You know what I mean? It's harder to deal with a bunch of people doing bad stuff. Because if you're doing it right and they're doing bad things, you're gonna still go down for their stuff.
One thing I respect about you guys is that you're by the book, and what you have is fucking tremendous. It's a tremendous idea. It's a tremendous concept, and you're not whoring it out. And I got all the respect in the world for you guys for that. If this was 2 different kids, they would kill it in a year. I think even if somebody looked into this, they'd say there's something here. You guys are on to something big. And
The
I
health-
know
the
you
health
probably
part
got
of
the
it.
knocks, people, you're just stoners, we're all a bunch of stoners, but you guys have done something else with it.
And of course, that's part of it too. That's the business out here. There's not everybody's ill, but we're trying to do, you know, we're trying to go after, like I said, the nursing homes, the people that are really terminally ill, you know, and we're giving medicine to them. So it's working. It's working. Hopefully the government opens their eyes to it and
They see what the capabilities are.
Yeah, it's going the right way.
It's amazing that I was on the phone with a friend of mine yesterday, and we were talking about a different friend of ours. They had an episode, and they put him on all this medication, and I seen him do an interview, and it was just mind-boggling. And it's amazing how easy it is for the government to give you 6 pills that have nothing to do with what's going on, really. 3 of them have something to do with what's going on. The other 3 just a fucking experiment, because they really don't know. You know, the FDA.
It's a guessing game.
And people are walking around like zombies. And I tell the story 1,000 times that I was put on anxiety medication, and I felt like death. Death. Yeah, I was doing it with Coke and a couple fucking cocktails, but I still felt like death the next day. And I said, I'm going to focus more on this. I read something online about medical marijuana, and I started focusing more on it, and I never took those pills again. I feel great. You know, I know for a fact that, you know, Bruce Lee, when they found him, he had weed in his system, in his stomach. He didn't smoke it, he ate it. And he didn't eat it to get high. He ate it for his rehabilitation. He knew that it would relieve the pain in his joints and his elbows and shit like that. And it's still a hard sell on the country. It was a hard sell on me. You know what I'm saying? When you come to me and push hemp, because whatever made the flag, and I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Don't push hemp on me that way, because I always felt like people were stolen. We're talking about Boulder. You know, Felicia grew up in Colorado. Bro, Boulder 15, 20 years ago was this city that as soon as you drove in over the hill, you could smell the weed in your car with the windows closed.
Did you know that GameFly is the smartest way to rent, play, and buy video games? With more than 8,000 titles, GameFly delivers the widest selection and availability of games for PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, Xbox, Xbox 360, Wii, GameCube, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, and PSP without the hassles of late fees or trips to the video store. I mean, what's better than that? I'm like curious about certain things. Like, I know we're not saying names, right? Is that true?
No names.
Okay. So I just didn't know. I didn't know. But I'm curious about how you guys as brothers work together. Because when you, see, that's what I'm curious about. Because, you know, having a partner, even this is like sometimes like we have, you know, there's a preschool behind here. And when we were first doing the podcast, we had one fight and we were like, fuck you! Yeah. One time we had a big fight in my kitchen while a guest was waiting, and he kept ringing the doorbell, and I'm like, "You need to fucking leave."
Open the fucking door. Yeah. We were like a husband and wife. Like, open the fucking door. Hi, how are you?
I know, and he stood out there for 15 minutes. We could see him as we're screaming at each other. So, like, how does that work with you guys?
It works, you know. We've been doing it we've been doing it since we were kids, so it's nothing out of the normal. But you know, sometimes us butting heads makes us realize things, and it changes stuff. You know, it's a love-hate relationship,
but it's also somebody you trust too. Yeah. So when an idea, you might not agree with the idea, but you'll take a step back an hour or two later and think about it and be like, you know what, that might work. Even if I don't agree with it, let's give it a shot. But it's like I said, it's working part. You know it, like you just said. A business relationship, partnership it's tough to begin with, and then especially when you're close in age like we are, and we're brothers, so we've been fighting and butting heads since we can walk. You know? So it's
So
fun.
Who's the boss?
Depends what day it is.
How about today?
We're not in the shop.
You want us to start fighting here?
Too much your parents think of all this. You mentioned your father earlier in the conversation.
Yeah,
he was out here.
He's behind it 100%. You know, he's behind it. You know, he had anxiety and stuff, and it works for his anxiety. You know, and he stopped everything. He was on for how many years? 15, whatever. And then when we got into this, I was like, try it. He started smoking, and he takes his few hits every few days,
medications
few hours.
A bit too.
His meds, everything. He doesn't take his meds anymore, so it's working. You know.
Did you go to college?
Never.
You? Oh. Unfucking believable.
Well, let me ask you this.
Joey?
Yeah.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to Linfield College.
Yeah, talk into the mic. And
What's
what's your hand in all this, Joey? Talk to us.
Well, my fiance is cousins with these guys, so when they moved down here, they moved down the Orange County area, and we hooked up, and ever since then we've been working together, and I've been helping them out in the shop and doing little sales here and there, and
doing everything.
trying to pick these guys' brains as much as I can and help out. I also do accounting, so I do their accounting and do accounting for companies on the side. So.
Wow, I have questions like the three of you. Do you guys think you guys have that adrenaline gene? Because here you are, you're doing this business, you're very serious about it. You are angling and in a good way for the medical use of it. And I can say I feel like angling is okay to use that because it benefits you and it you really believe in it, as most people kind of do, I think. But do you guys feel like sometimes like, wow, we're working together in such a great fashion, we're having this great product, but what drives us to do something that's kind of risky?
Well, it's risky, every day life has risk, so just a normal day driving a car, you don't know if you're going to get hit by somebody else. That's a risk take, but we all do it every day. I think the risk is worth it because, honest truth, I believe in it. I would risk anything for something I believe in because it's the way it is. Everybody risks to make this a free country, and it's changed over time. Certain laws have been put in. Well, I'm taking the risk to get some of those laws changed for the better of the people.
We know that there is a legal risk to it, but is there also like, is it scary? Is it a scary business? Like not just legally, but because
like the people,
the
people you deal with.
Yes.
Well, most people, well, any industry you got pieces of shit, But for most people are on the up and up. The nice people, Californians, by whole and large, are decent people from what I get out of them, So I don't feel threatened ever, I feel that it's good.
It's shocking, but because everybody sees the other states and it's a drug, it's crime ridden, all of this. You come here, you walk into a nice shop, like getting a pack of cigarettes. You talk to the guy because every Tuesday on the way to work, you go to that store, you laugh, you joke, you might talk about the football game. It's a peace, easy-going environment. Older women that have arthritis are going into these shops, getting tinctures, some edibles. They're going into neighborhoods where they feel comfortable, they feel great in these shops. We're not talking about you going a back alley, you're going through a front door. A regular store, just like if you were getting a soda pop.
No, I know that part. Like I did once because I do a lot of photography, and once I did a photo trip up in Northern California, and I was very lucky and got to go to 3 different farms, I guess that's what you would call it. And one was in Mendocino, and it was mostly grown in greenhouses, and that guy was like 75 years old, a real tinkerer, like with all the levels, and his mom who was like 95, and then in-laws would come and they would do all the cutting, and that was really interesting. And then I went over the hill, and I'm sure you guys must know all this, and I'm sorry if I'm being boring, but I went over the hill where it doesn't get as much moisture from the ocean. Everyone grows outside, and the plants are so big. And I went to this one place, and the plants were so big, it was like, in the background you could see the redwood trees, you know what I mean? And then the plant, from your perspective, you're like, it's as big as a redwood tree. But it was very interesting to see that it is a cultural way that everyone lives up there, So, but then on the other hand, I heard, and if I'm being stupid on this, but I heard, because I think they told me that, it's pretty benign, but there is a side of it where people go into the forest and in the woods up there and dump seeds, and then it's a little dangerous, right?
I think that's like what those Mexican drug cartels,
right? I just seen
stuff like that. I watched that on the TV.
They have the fucking tents,
and they're doing on like state property. They're doing everything wrong, and that's what's giving it a bad name.
But does it rub up against each other? Not you guys, but I mean, does the benign and that stuff rub up
that's what they
against each other?
televise. Is they televise that part of it? They don't televise. I'm gonna go back again to the nursing home. They televise to the cartels and stuff like that. Well, we know the cartels are what they are, and that's not going to change. I don't think that's going to change
they show
if the
more
government does.
patients.
And they're not showing. And then now then the next thing they do, they show them raiding a dispensary, and they're not showing the good people that are going to the dispensary, the lawyer, the doctor, the so on and so forth, whatever may have you. These good, upstanding citizens. So how can you compare those two? I don't know, but
They got
that's
sick
what they.
by mistake.
Yeah,
I ran into a guy 5 years ago that really touched me. He was an older gentleman with a Marine haircut. And you see those guys in Colorado a lot. They retire there. And I seen this guy at a weed store, and I saw him a couple times. He got what he got. The guy was very cut and dry with him. And one day he started talking to me, and he goes, I was a lieutenant, colonel, whatever, for 20 years, and I thought that if you smoked this, you were weak. For years, I thought that you were weak. And I got sick. I got stomach cancer. I couldn't eat, lost a bunch of weight. My son suggested I almost killed him. But he said, try it. And now I'm in here every day for my dose. And he goes, I'm alive, and I eat, and I got my appetite back, and it went into remission, and I'm out, And that's the day I was like, wait a second, maybe this isn't all high times. Maybe this isn't the
There's a
propaganda
lot of stories
I
out there
thought.
like that. Yeah.
And are you guys thinking that you're onto something big? Because I think you are. This is the beginning of something big. We're sitting here with 3 guys, looking like they're out of college, still all on their student loans. And I'm telling you that I feel something big here, because this has 30% negativity, but 150% positivity. I mean, it really does. Even for me, like I said, when I hit it, I was like, they're on to something. Do you feel like that, guys?
Yeah,
Do
definitely.
you feel like you're like at a Nike or like a tap out type business? That
We're feeling it, and time will tell. That's the real thing.
It's going in the right direction, that's for sure. It's going in the right direction. Like you said, we're here because the feedback from the public is good.
Now, you're in California. Are you in Denver yet?
No.
Are the laws different in Denver?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. Yeah, they're it's more governed. It's more governed over there.
Would these things fly? Is the pen legal in Denver?
Yeah, they have other companies in Denver.
Oh,
that are doing the
CO2,
same-
butane, all those different extractions are legal in Colorado.
Now, explain the butane
I think
system
they're
to me.
tolerated.
Tolerated, all right.
Tolerated, because it's crazy.
sort.
Excuse me?
I don't know. I don't know the law exactly on that because it changes. It changes daily. I don't.
Yeah, it's been interesting as you guys are talking that you guys are want to impress that you don't know all the laws, like don't say too much information, like because you want to play it right, right?
Because we know what it should be and it could be, and we know federally it's definitely not. And the laws in Colorado and here in California, it's changed. Also with the elections, the elections coming up, it's
different views.
It's different views. I know it's voted by. We all know it's voted by the people, and it should be okay, but it's not.
Well, let me ask you now, because I have simple questions. What kind of product do you look for? Like if I look at marijuana, some of it's really pretty, some of it smells good, but what do you guys look for? I mean, do you just test it right away, you don't care, or do you, when you look at marijuana, any kind of marijuana, you know exactly what you're dealing with?
We know the growers, so we know where it's coming from. We know the growers. We look at the strain specific for different ailments and trichomes, and like I said, we know the flower part of it because we use all the byproduct of the plant, the trimmings, and what would normally go to the garbage of some sort and decompose. So we use that, and
so you just use the trimmings. You don't use
the actual flower.
Yeah.
In most cases, no.
How come?
It's not cost effective.
Okay.
It's not cost effective at all because prices vary on whatever strain, but for us it doesn't make sense. Cost effective.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I went up north and and then at the end of it, this guy goes, "Oh, hold on." It was me and my girlfriend Natalie who did a lot of the Beauty and the Beast photos, and because we were doing the photographs up there, and he, right before we get in the car to drive back down, he's like, "Hold on," and he brings out this fucking garbage bag of weed, right? And we're like, "What?" You know what I mean? Like we girl panicked on him. You know what I mean? We took it, but it was like, "Oh my god!" So it's just all that shake is what you guys use, all the trimmings, and wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now you got to remember when, 5 years ago when I got my first license, I go to these stores and I see all these edible companies, and over the years they come and go because obviously they were buying the plants, and then you realize that it's the shake they're making it off. So all the trimmings, you follow me? So I don't want people to get the bad idea by saying, "Oh, they do it with trimmings." It can't be that fucking strong. It still is strong, or even better. It's like Coke in the fucking 80s. What turned to crack wasn't the Coke that tasted good. It was the shit they fucked up that tasted like ass. And they go, we can't fucking sell it to the snorters, burn this thing down the crack. Is it the same kind of principle? You're just looking for the potency.
Potency in the
Potency, that's it at that
Yeah.
point.
Yes.
The flavor in all the ones I've tried has been tremendous.
Yeah.
In all the ones I've tried,
The
they've been
whole
great.
thing with the trim is it comes off, say, a plant that's 22%. All right, then when if you really tested what the trim is, the leftovers, it'd be, say, at 15%. Well, what we do is we take that 15% and bring it up. Pretty much just make it a lot stronger. 3 times it. And
So
it's just
condensing it, condensing
Yeah,
it, condensing
concentrate.
it.
And that's
yeah.
why it's called concentrates, because you take a lot to
Uh-huh.
a little and make it a little more potent and more effective.
So our indicas and sativas, I know a little bit about marijuana, but I am by any means a genius. But is indica pot, because you're talking about medical use, is that different? You can use it towards more different ailments
Yeah.
than sativa? Like, what's the difference?
We want the higher the CBD level is in the
Is more for
in the
pain
marijuana,
relief.
It's more for back
CBD?
pain. Yeah.
What's that? CBD?
You got me on that one.
Cannabinoids. It's
Cannabinoids,
different
yeah.
cannabinoids they're called.
Okay.
There's different ones. THC is one type of cannabinoid. CBNs is another cannabinoid. And CBD. CBDs is more for the pain relief. CBNs is more for stress, blood pressure, all of that. And the THC is more of, like the painkiller too.
Oh, see, I thought it was just THC.
No,
it's other
there's,
stuff with
there's
it.
hundreds more of
Oh,
the
really?
cannabinoids we don't even know about because we can't get science funding. They pretty much have equipment that they can find out those 100 other cannabinoids, and it could be an ailment where you can take it and it'll get rid of dandruff. Start putting it in shampoo. It has millions
All right.
of different things.
So the indicas, the CBDs are more towards what? I'm sorry if I interrupted.
Indicas are more towards the CBDs and CBNs, and the sativa is more towards the THC, a little more higher potent.
So if you were in pain, you would do more indica.
Yeah, more indica and sleep relief and all of that, and that's where the stress, the CBNs come from.
All right. Wow.
And the sativa?
The sativa is more of an upbeat. The THC gives you an up. So for somebody that's a little more depressed and down, sativa will get them up and going, want to do stuff. You know what I mean? A little more active. Everybody thinks, oh, you smoke pot, you're sitting on your couch. Well, yeah, if you're doing indica. But if I smoke a sativa in the morning, I'm out, shaved, right to work. Ready to do stuff.
That is a sativa that made me want to go to the gym, though.
Yeah.
It would
Yeah.
blow my mind up that I had to get on a bicycle.
I
Because
have-
if not, it was like people were chasing me. You think I'm fucking kidding?
I know, I'm
That's
not.
OG would fucking drive me crazy. My wife said, "Where you going at 4:45 in the morning? I gotta get on a bike, bitch."
I got to
I got
move.
with Cheryl Crow and Lance Armstrong. I got shit to do.
I did yoga with Joey's wife, and we went to the Y. And did you show me the little bicycle at the Y? Was that you?
No.
She did. This is Joey's bicycle.
Yeah.
I was like, all
Oh,
right.
I showed you.
I think you
one
showed
time.
me. Yeah.
Oh, I fucking wear that bicycle out, Jack. I get fucking baked. Stoned like it. When I go into the Y, I don't remember. Like there's times I look at the clock and I go, what time did I get here? I never remember. I black out. I come to like 35 minutes while I'm walking on the treadmill uphill at 4.5, sweating bullets. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
Can I ask you some basic questions?
Yeah.
And if you have the answer, would be wonderful. If you don't, that's okay too. I know, how is hash made? That's what I want to know.
There's so many different ways. There's bubble bag hash, water hash, dry ice hash. There's all different
There's
methods.
ball bag hash?
No, bubble bag. Sorry.
Bubble balls. Like there's ball bag
No,
hash.
I'm thinking
Oh
of.
no.
But it's bubble bag, and it's pretty much just a straining system of cold water and bags, and it condenses it and takes all the THC, CBDs once again off, and it just condenses it. So
So explain how that would go, like how that would happen. And I'm sorry if these are boring questions, but I'm always interested in this kind of stuff.
No problem.
So if someone's gonna make hash, do they have the flowers? That they use the flour
They
for,
use the flowers, the trim.
Yeah.
and then they put that in a bag.
Pretty much a bag with cold water, or there's one with dry ice. The simplest way, you put the old trim or bud in a bag with dry ice, and it's kind of like a bag with kind of like screen on top of a screen on top of a screen, a mesh screen, and you just shake it above a plate. Just shake it, and you'll just see all this white and green powder come off and stuff, and that's all the trichromes, THC crystals, CBNs, and you can just literally push it together, and you have powdered hash. And then if you want, you can press it together You know, the old-fashioned way is just rub it in your hand,
Right.
and eventually, from the moisture and all that, it will start to bind. And when it binds, you'll have little.
So what about the rumor, like when I was growing up, and I'm sorry I'm all over you guys about this, but I don't know who else to ask, but is it true that they would put dung in hash? Like, is that true? Remember
Probably
when,
it comes from Afghanistan, so I wouldn't put it
dung?
bad. Garnet
Shit.
shit. Like, you know, cow shit. And
I've
stuff
also heard
like
that they said scum too. I don't know. That's some
what?
third world scum.
What's
Animal
that?
scum. Cum. I've heard that too.
To
Third
stick it
world.
together.
So
Third
animal cum is called
That's what I heard.
scum?
Third world, but I don't know what they're
Yeah,
doing.
that's a
I
new
know
one.
here.
Oh,
I heard
opened
that,
up a world for me. What?
But I know over here that it's just done with moisture and pressure. You know, compression.
If you've liked the podcast this hour, please go to thepodcastawards.com and nominate Beauty and the Beast for Best Podcast in any kind of category. We certainly would appreciate that.
You know, when people started telling me, like, I go over to no hoe, or one no hoe place, and the kids started, every time I go in there, they'd say, come in the back, and they put a slab out of that shit, and they take the blowtorch out. Once I see a blowtorch, you know, I'm out of it, you know, and I go home, and the same thing with the tinctures. Once you gotta start drinking tinctures and laboratories, and once I see, listen, my wife sees a blowtorch, it's over. Understand me?
Yeah,
I understand her because that takes me into a different realm. All I want to do is smoke weed and get high. And, you know, my knees hurt, and that's it. So that's how I look at a lot of that stuff. You know, I look at a lot of that craziness. Like when I go into a place and they're selling me on this new fucking thing, and other people are like, don't smoke it. It's got butane in it or whatever. You know, this isn't that shit.
No,
I can
this is
taste
all
the difference.
CO2. This is just like if you got soda out of a gun at a restaurant. You know what I mean? When they pour out your soda, the carbonation, it's the same thing. It is not one bit chemical. It's not harmful. It's in the air. You know what I mean? It's a natural thing.
Thank you so much for coming on, and I'm sorry if I asked a lot of stupid questions, but you know, you always want to know the information. But do you guys want to say anything, plug anything, like where it's being sold or a website or anything like that?
NoHo Organics on Burbank.
Organic on Burbank.
South Bay Canna Clinic in
Van Nuys.
They're also going to be at the
on Sepa Boulevard.
expo this weekend.
Yeah, Kush Expo in LA.
Where is that at? The Staples Center.
It's right around the Staples Center, yeah.
And then you also have a webpage.
Yes,
We put Eureka on this.
EurekaVapor.com.
And they can't order it. So
No,
if you live in Cincinnati, don't bother these fucking guys.
Yeah,
don't
don't.
need your $40. You understand me? Don't even think about it. It's not worth the aggravation. Keep smoking your weed out there until the fucking whatever shows up.
Is there any place you would, if you could recommend information that people could read about the laws, or you know, anything that you guys go to, a blog or anything that you like to read about what's going on?
Cal Normal website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a
They're
good
on
amount of information.
CalNormal.com.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks
That
for
was
having us.
very,
Yeah,
very
thanks for the
interesting,
presence.
very
Thank you,
cool.
man. You guys,
Yeah.
I really love your product, and I hope that if you live in California, you give it a shot. If you listen to the podcast, give it a shot. We have a lot of viewers, listeners in San Francisco, so hopefully, you know, you get a bunch of new people trying it out.
Yeah.
Thank you for driving up today. Thank you for the presence.
Yeah, thank you.
Fucking stoned.
That was the goal.
Do us a really big favor, and if you've enjoyed any of the information this past hour, go to our iTunes and please leave a review.
Have a great week. Stay black.
What he said.